Transportation Department and Gwinnett County Public Schools sincerely thank Ms. Rodriguez for her heroism and selfless act and present this certificate of recognition.
There you go. A standing ovation for the Gwinnett County school bus driver who protected elementary students when a woman opened fire on the bus. Ms. Rodriguez suffered minor injuries from broken glass, but none of the students on board was hurt. One woman was arrested in connection with that shooting. Police have not released a motive. During a 2020 arrest will not face charges. What the GBI's investigation revealed and how the students' attorneys are responding tonight.
And 3 inmate deaths within months of each other at the Cobb County Jail. The latest on the investigations into the deaths.
But first tonight, a big push on the last day of campaigning before tomorrow's primary election. And the 2 men battling it out for the Republican nomination for governor had some star power behind them tonight. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Russ Spencer.
I'm Courtney Bryant. In just 9 hours, Georgians will head to the polls to cast their ballots in the May primary election.
While there are many races to watch, the top of the ticket will be a key test of the power of former President Trump's endorsement. A new Insider Advantage Fox 5 poll shows Governor Kemp may be able to win the Republican nomination without a runoff, though the race is tightening between him and former U.S. Senator David Perdue, who Trump urged to get into this race. Here are the numbers. Governor Kemp at 52%, Perdue at 38%, Candace Taylor at 6%, and Catherine Davis at 1%. About 3% of the voters are still undecided. Now, both Kemp and Perdue are encouraging Georgians to get out and vote.
Our Fox 5 News team is bringing you the very latest tonight. Brian Hill listened in on a tele-rally for David Perdue, hosted by former President Trump tonight. But we begin with Denise Dillon in Cobb County, where former Vice President Mike Pence campaigned for Governor Kemp just hours ago. Denise?
Yeah, that rally was held in a hangar here at McCullum Field in Cobb County. It was packed with Kemp supporters, and many told me having the former VP make an appearance was an added bonus.
No one has done more to create jobs, cut taxes, restore sanity to your schools, put criminals behind bars, protect the unborn, secure your elections, or defend the God-given rights we have enshrined in the Constitution than Governor Brian Kemp.
Former Vice President Mike Pence.
Cast during the same period back in 2018.
Be sure to join us tomorrow night for complete coverage of the Georgia primary. We'll have the latest results throughout the night. Plus, our team of reporters will track all.
Terrell's arrest. Terrell led officers on a chase, even jumping over a fence before being arrested. According to police, he is a documented gang member and had outstanding warrants in 4 counties. Those warrants range from aggravated assault, robbery, theft, and financial fraud. During his arrest, officers say they found 2 9mm handguns in his car.
Bond denied for Atlanta rapper Gunna. Today, a Fulton County judge set a trial date for the rapper, whose real name is Sergio Kitchens, for January. The same judge delayed a bond hearing for rapper Young Thug. He and 27 others were named by the district attorney as allegedly running a criminal street gang tied to murders, shootings, and other crimes. Young Thug's father denies the charges and says the young men are operating a record label.
Where we come from, we're used to being made to look bad. We are a record label. We are YSL loaded record label.
Prosecutors yet allege the Young Thug's attorney has a conflict of interest.
Safe when you're living there. You want a good school, a good community, a place where you belong. But it's a lot easier to feel safe over on the expensive side of the board than it is where the rent is low and the crime is high. This is how one woman is working to even the playing field.
I was a Monopoly champ of Hamburg Elementary in DeKalb County. And I told my parents that night at the dinner table that I was going to be a landlord when I grew up.
It just sounded fun to Margie Stagmeyer.
People that owned houses and collected rent in Pasco.
She did grow up to become a landlord and passed go a whole bunch of times before she started to figure out it's about more than just building up to Boardwalk.
You're in a unique position to really help people with their lives and to improve. So that's what I really enjoy about being a landlord is when you can take a property like this that was blighted and boarded up and had very high crime, and within 2 years you now have children playing on the playground and families thriving, and you have children outperforming their peers in the local elementary school.
That's a total transformation. So we wanted to find out how Margie did it.
We specifically target low-performing schools and apartment communities around low-performing schools.
She found the Summerdale and Springview apartment.
Military members are eligible. And another tragedy in New York City. A banker on his way to brunch was shot dead on a subway train, reportedly by a stranger. That and more coming up on NTD News.
So what we're trying to do by bringing attention to the fact that some of these cases have had a genital or perianal presentation is just to remind people that these people may come in for evaluation of what they think is an STD, but we'd like the provider to think, could it be monkeypox as well if the circumstances fit the story.
A monkeypox rash on the body. The CDC says the virus requires close contact and is not easily transmissible.
College tells me when assessing the economy now, we should keep in mind the unprecedented challenges we faced over the past few years.
The pandemic response, the lockdown in the economy, and the subsequent supply chain disruptions, those things are not normal. Those aren't normally figured into your standard economic models, so they have to be taken into account also. And similarly, shutting down energy production affects every sector of the economy, basically. At present, there are no alternatives that could replace fossil fuels that we use. So you're going to see prices going up, you're going to see output going down. That's the formula for a recession.
Both economists tell me the best way for Americans to prepare for an uncertain economic outlook is to save money, invest in assets to maintain the value of your dollar, and quickly
by flying so close and all the maneuvers that are undertaken.
China's foreign ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin fired back on Biden's comments, saying China deplores and rejects the remarks from the U.S. Wang says the Taiwan issue is an internal affair with no room for compromise or concession, citing China's core interests on sovereignty and territorial integrity. The spokesperson urged the U.S. to abide by the One China principle and warned against support of Taiwan's independence. The Chinese Communist Party's One China principle is different from the One China policy abided to by the United States. The Chinese regime only recognizes its version, considering Taiwan part of its territory. While acknowledging China's stance, the U.S. does not recognize Taiwan as a part of China. U.S. State Department spokesperson Ned Price clarified the U.S. position in a Twitter post on Saturday. Price stated China continues to publicly misrepresent U.S. policy and that the U.S. does not subscribe to the One China principle. Biden says the U.S. supports the One China policy but stands by past commitments.
It does not mean that China has the ability, the jurisdiction to go in and use force to take over Taiwan. So we stand firmly with Japan and with other nations not to let that happen.
Growing concerns about China have pushed Japan and other nations in the region to build up defensive capabilities. India, Korea, and the Philippines are doing the same. Jeremy Sandberg, NTD News.
Coming up.
But this time a year ago, travelers were paying $3.03. In some areas, it's even worse. Drivers in 22 states are seeing prices above the national average. But GasBuddy says 58% of Americans still plan to travel this summer.
The numbers are kind of surprising, given the fact that gas prices are at record highs.
The good news is there are some ways to save by doing things like shopping at warehouse club stores and grocery stores that have fuel reward programs, according to a consumer saving expert. Drivers can also save by paying in cash and being cautious about which credit cards give rewards for buying gas. The small methods can make a big difference.
When you think about, saving 15 to 30 cents per gallon by paying for cash, and then another 15 to 30 cents per gallon by saving, by going to the cheaper gas station, and you're redeeming your fuel points and you're earning cash back to pay for your gas. I mean, we're talking hundreds of dollars over the course